DocTalk is brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, sure trace mineral supplementation by timed injection.
Hi there and welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. We have a great show for you today. I have Dr. Jim Riviera, who is the McDonald Endowed Chair of Veterinary Medicine here at Kansas State University. We're going to talk about U.S. FARAD and antibiotic residue avoidance. Stay tuned.
Yeah, my name is Paul Davis. The name of the ranch is the Alvord Ranch, southeastern Oregon. Multimin has been a product that's working very well for us. Since we started using Multimin, the healthiness of the cattle has been better, the breed back's been better. We've had way less sickness. I would recommend Multimin to any cowman. Multimin seems to be a great preventive tool here. Things just get better every year.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value. This segment is brought to you by Rotomix, manufactured in the USA and designed for feeding performance in the feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations. Jim, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me here.
It's great to have you here, and I tell you what, it's great to have you at Kansas State University, and I mean that with all my heart. And I think one of the things that's fair is for me to introduce, and I know that you have multiple titles, but I think it's fair to people to understand the level of the program that you've developed and the respect. You're the McDonald Endowed Chair of Veterinary Medicine. You're a Kansas Bioscience Eminent Scholar. You're a University Distinguished Professor. And also, you're a member of the Institute of Medicine at the National Academy of Sciences. Remarkable.
Well, thank you very much. And, you know, I actually really consider myself to be a veterinarian, and that's why I'm actually here at Kansas State right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, the veterinary profession, and you are a veterinarian, and the veterinary profession is very lucky to have somebody like you that has the drive and the wherewithal to put yourself in a position to help our profession, help our food producing industries. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Again, to be able to work with you and the whole Beef Safety Institute. I've spent 30 years working on avoiding drug and chemical residues in food-producing animals, and cattle are the primary animals we deal with. So
you bet. Well, we're going to kick off the show today. We're going to talk about antibiotic residue avoidance and U.S. FARAD, programs that you've built, things that you have a passion for in providing a safe, wholesome food supply. Okay. How do you want to kickstart this antibiotic residue avoidance issue? Well,
you know, FARAD is the Food Animal Residue Avoidance Data Bank, which was set up 30 years ago as a collaboration between 4 universities. University partners swift around, but right now it's Kansas State, North Carolina State University, University of California, Davis, and the University of Florida. And what we're there for is to have, for veterinarians and others using antibiotics in food animals, to give us a call if they have to essentially optimize how they use them and avoid tissue residues. I mean, part of what we do is the realization that you need to use drugs in food production, and animals are not all the same. And so It's basically used some techniques that are routinely used in human medicine and apply that to veterinary medicine to make sure that finally the consumer, when he's consuming milk, meat, eggs from a food-producing animal, is completely free of antimicrobial or other drug residues.
You bet. Well, it's a hugely important service that we have here at not only at Kansas State, but the partnership between the other 3 universities. And we're going to take a break.
Okay.
But when we come back, I want to get into some of the inner workings of FARAD and where does the funding come from, and how can people use FARAD, and how we get a hold of you.
Very good.
Appreciate you being here today.
Okay.
We appreciate you watching. After the break, we'll be back with Dr. Jim Riviera.
Beef producers need a practical choice when antibiotic therapy is required. More than ever, they are reaching for non-prescription Noromycin 300 LA from Norbrook, specially formulated to produce sustained antibiotic blood levels up to 4 days in cattle. Noromycin 300 LA delivers economic, broad-spectrum disease management for pneumonia, shipping fever, pink eye, wound infections, and foot rot. See for yourself why Norbrook's Noromycin 300 LA is the practical choice for your herd.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Here in Dallas, we're proud that our vehicles use an advanced biofuel called biodiesel. It's made from renewable resources like soybean oil, canola oil, even recycled cooking oil. This year, biodiesel will displace almost 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. Our air is cleaner, our economy is stronger, and America's more energy independent. It's working here, it can work in your community. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Got cattle? Rotomix manufactures a complete line of energy-efficient rotary and vertical feed mixers for feedlots, beef production, dairy, and cow-calf operations. Our mixers are available with the patented Generation 2 staggered rotor, the industry standard for feeding wet rations that include wet distiller's grain. Made in the USA, Rotomix mixers are designed for feeding performance that American cattlemen and dairy producers have come to expect. Rotomix, proud to offer a better mix in less time using less fuel.
This segment is brought to you by Norbrook Laboratories, manufacturers of Noromycin LA, Normectin Plus, 1%, and Poron, the practical choice for your herd. Hi there and welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine, and I'm here with my colleague, Dr. Jim Riviera. And Dr. Riviera is the McDonald Endowed Chair of Veterinary Medicine and a member of the Institute of Medicine at the National Academy of Sciences. And we're talking about FARAD, and when we left from the break, you know, we kind of introduced the topic. But let's start to drill down into what exactly FARAD does and what are some of the big services that it provides.
Okay, well, FARAD simply is a consortium of 4 universities that have pulled together pharmacologists and practitioners and educators and researchers focused on one issue, and that is how do you avoid chemical residues in food-producing animals. So there's a number of ways that chemicals and drugs get introduced in animals. One is the so-called extra-label drug use, where a veterinarian, if he has a diagnosis and requires a higher dose or duration of therapy that's on the label, is legally allowed to do that as long as he can or she can assure that there are no residues left in the animal. How do you do that? It sounds really simple. In reality, it's probably the most complex type of question you could come up with. And we've created the infrastructure and the research infrastructure and the right people to pull together pharmacists and mathematical modelers to come up when someone calls and said, I'm using this higher dose of drug to usually avoid resistance. I mean, so again, you have to use the drug properly to make sure that you don't induce antimicrobial resistance in that animal and actually treat the animal. How long do you have to withhold from treatment?
So veterinarian or can they when they do use something extra label, then and they want to establish that withdrawal period, they can pick up the phone.
They can pick up the phone and call 1-888-US-FARAD. Or easier, they can go online and very shortly use a mobile app and just turn on their cell phone and basically get access to this. If we haven't got the data in there that already answers the question, then you will get a clinical pharmacologist on the phone back to your practice and go through after the right scenario is set up and basically guide you through what the withdrawal time should be.
I think that when we see all the different things in the media, you know, about antimicrobial residues and things like that, I don't think people understand the length and the investment and the time that people like you spend their careers helping provide a safe, wholesome food supply?
It's a complex process, and it's really an exciting one. Scientifically, it's exciting, and it's very rewarding, because you know that when we've done these things, and actually FDA or USDA has taken samples to validate this, to determine if there's a violation, there's never been a violation on a FARAD recommended approval. And that's something that's been going on for 25 years that the system's proud of.
That's incredible. We're going to take another break. Incredible service to not only the food production animal industries, but to our consumers. Thanks for watching Doc Talk. We're going to come right back with more with Dr. Jim Riviera.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
I'm Dennis Tebow. My wife and I, Kathy, are the owners of Wolf Creek Cattle Company. We have grown to approximately 70 bulls.
I'm Reese Arnold. I'm the livestock manager at Wolf Creek Cattle Company. You know, these are not just like normal cattle. These cattle, they're hauled anywhere from, 8 to 10 hours a day across the United States and asked to perform. The Multi-Man 90 keeps them kind of level. It maintains and balances their system. The stress level is less when, when everything's right and working right, then they're working right.
Hi, I'm Kevin Ochsner, host of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman and Colorado Rancher. Join me each week as the National Cattlemen's Beef Association brings you the latest updates in industry information and market news. Plus, each week we provide important educational information and features on cattlemen from across the country just like you. And we can't forget our favorite cowboy poet, Baxter Black. Join me for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, debuting Tuesday nights at 8:30 Eastern, right here on RFD TV.
Join the team, the Beef Quality Assurance Team. Getting BQA certified shows you're committed to practices that produce the highest quality beef in the world. And by visiting BQA.org, you can take the online certification course at a time that fits your schedule and from the comfort of your home or office. You'll also find lots of helpful tips on improving animal health and animal handling practices. Get certified, BQA certified, because it's about doing the right thing. Visit BQA.org today and become a member of the BQA team.
This segment was brought to you by Brute Cattle Equipment, makers of the Brute Stealth Hydraulic Chute. If the chute fits, swear by it. Visit our website for more information.
Hi there and welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Jim Riviera. And Dr. Riviera is a clinical pharmacologist. He is the McDonald Endowed Chair of Veterinary Medicine here at Kansas State University, and you are a member of the Institute of Medicine of the National Academies of Science, and we're talking about FARAD. And prior to the break, we were talking about how veterinarians and the like can call in if they use an extra label drug and make sure we don't have antimicrobial residues with FARAD. But there's another big component to FARAD, and that's...
Yeah, a major aspect we deal with is accidental exposure to anything, to contaminants. For example, we often get in hurricane season in the southeast. Again, right. where I was from North Carolina, there'd be hurricanes, there'd be pig producers with animals displaced, with farm chemicals, contaminating aspects, and the questions come in, so how can I save these animals and still get them to market? Right. So we provide an extremely large database of the exposure of all these different chemicals, fuel, oils, pesticides, industrial chemicals that actually get to an animal that should have never gotten to an animal.
So then, if there is accidental exposure to these, there's then kind of a guesstimate of how much or...
Yeah, it's a guesstimate, but it's actually a really complicated calculation
I'll bet it is.
that we could get into. But for example, we were involved back 5-6 years ago with the melamine contamination problem from China, where feed was contaminated because pigs were fed contaminated dog food that shouldn't have been contaminated. What do you do with 20,000, head? And essentially worked out withdrawal times, and they went to market fine. A year ago in Japan with the Fukushima nuclear meltdown, We had calls in as what would happen, what do you do with these animals? How can you protect them from further exposure? Is there a way of actually saving any of this? At least we already, the beauty of Ferret is, Ferret has all this information already gathered. On a real-time basis, we constantly collect information that might be useful for an incident. But you never know what the incident's going to be. But when the incident occurs, somebody's already looked into this before. So with Fukushima, we had already had the whole Chernobyl problem before, when there was exposure for milk producers in Europe. So that information was available and readily transmitted to who needed it.
So it's kind of like veterinary practice. You don't know what's going to be on the other end of the phone, but you use your experience and research to practice outcomes-based or evidence-based medicine.
Right. That's a good way of saying what we do. A lot of what we handle is we're not involved with determining whether these contaminants are toxic to the animal. In most cases, the animal's fine. It's just a question of the food then that would be consumed from that animal. And it uses techniques of mathematical modeling that we've developed specifically for this issue.
Well, it's your client base or practice area is a little bit bigger than what mine was. Yours is the globe. And we're sure proud to have you here at K-State. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll kind of wrap up our discussion on FARAD and talk about maybe where some of the funding comes from and different things like that.
Okay.
Thanks for being here, Jim.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching DocTalk. We'll be back in a minute.
This segment is brought to you by Lalaman Animal Nutrition, dedicated to the development and production of natural and differential solutions for animal nutrition. And by the Graham School for Cattlemen, with over 100 years of continuous service to the cattle industry. To find out more, visit us online at grahamschool.com.
This is Agriculture Today from Kansas State University. With the drought-driven forage shortage and the high price of forage that aligns with that, a cattle producer can ill afford to waste that forage during winter feeding. The feeding apparatus that one uses to present hay to cattle can make a big difference there, according to K-State Research and Extension's Austin Sexton.
On a percent of bale waste, the modified cone feeder came in at 5.3% bale waste, and that was the most efficient, followed by 12.6% with the sheeted bottom, and then the two kind of open-bottomed, both of them came in around 20.5%. Design has a significant influence on how much hay is wasted.
This is K-State Research and Extension.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Cow-calf, stocker, and feedlot producers know that effective parasite control improves overall herd performance and profitability. Norbrook offers a comprehensive, economical line of pour-on and injectable parasiticides for every livestock operation. Consult with your local animal health supplier to set up a program that protects your investment and brings larger cattle checks this fall. See for yourself why the Noromectin line from Norbrook is the practical choice for your herd.
Closed caption brought to you by AgriLabs, the perfect pairing of performance and value.
This segment is brought to you by Double D Family Mat Shop. Injured livestock could mean injured profits. Protect yours with no-slip mats from Double D Family Mat Shop.
Hi there and welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and I'm joined by Dr. Jim Riviera, who is a distinguished university professor here at Kansas State University, and he holds the McDonald Endowed Chair of Veterinary Medicine and is a member of the Institute of Medicine and the National Academy of Sciences. And we've talked today about an incredible program that you're a huge part of the reason why we have it, why we continue to have it. But these programs don't happen, these services for providing safe, wholesome food don't happen without some sort of funding mechanism.
So FARAD has been blessed with funding from USDA, now it's the NIFA, National Institutes of Food and Agriculture.
Right.
I think that the only issue is that, as you know, in these budgetary times, and there always seems to be some budgetary issue going on, that the FARET is a yearly funded program. So we have been authorized by Congress for some 20 years. We've been in the last Farm Bill, but every year we need to get there and say that yes, we still need to exist, and it's a challenge to actually maintain a really highly technical qualified staff in that environment. But we do it, and in between gaps when the federal funding doesn't occur, we've had support from a lot of producer groups, and the American Veterinary Medical Association is a major pusher for this.
Well, it's such a incredible service for animal production, food animal production, and for food safety globally. It would be pretty hard to imagine this program, once you get it up and running, not existing.
Well, Dan, I'm glad you feel that way, and I wish everybody would feel that way. And essentially, if it doesn't hurt to have people who know that the program is useful to call their congressman and say, hey, FARET needs to be supported at the level that it's authorized to be supported at. Yep. And that would help us continue to do our job. We've been doing this for 3 decades now.
Well, and it's deeper than that. I mean, to have a veterinarian that's a member of the Institute of Medicine and the National Academy of Sciences, you don't just get there from sitting behind the desk. You get there from developing things that are helping not only the animal kingdom but mankind. And this is an incredible service, and we're awfully proud of what you've done.
Thank you very much. It's a teamwork, and there's a lot of people involved in this. And
I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are. But again, I think that it's important that people understand and give kudos to USDA and AVMA and different groups that have stepped up the plate to fund these. I'd think that for security's sake and longevity, you'd start to get a little bit longer funding time windows.
That's exactly what we really need, is to have funding that actually goes for longer than a year. And in the current environment, budgets get passed for 6 months, so it makes it difficult. But
well, thanks a million for being on the show. Thanks for what you do, and
I really appreciate you having me here.
You bet. Thanks for watching the show today, and if you want to know more about what Dr. Riviere and I do here at the College of Veterinary Medicine, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Remember, always work with your local veterinarian. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. We sure appreciate you watching the show, and I'll see you down the road.
For more information about this program or previous programs, go to DocTalkTV.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Multimin USA, manufacturers of Multimin 90, sure trace mineral supplementation by timed injection.
Mike Davis, owner-operator of the Cooney Ranch in Southeast Oregon. We're running right at 700 head of mother cows. We've been using Multimin for about 5 years now. Here at the Cooney, we're selenium deficient, manganese, copper. I know those are 3 of the big ones that we are short on. And with the Multimin, I believe that it's helping to up that response. We all do a mineral pack. When we first put it out, they'll eat a lot of it, and as they get it built up in their system, they'll back off of it. The Multimin probably gives them an extra boost to get those other trace minerals going. We give the calves a shot of Multimin at branding, and then the calves will be followed up with another dose of Multimin in the fall when we wean. And then in the spring, before we turn out, we'll give the calves another shot. We give all the cows once a year, we give them a shot of Multimin when we process in the fall. The bulls, we process them in the fall too, and give them a dose of Multimin then. We try and get the bulls in again before we turn them out with the cows, and just give them a dose then, hoping to get a little better preg rate, efficiency out of the bulls. With our replacement heifers, because I'm trying to keep around 100 to 125 replacement heifers. So we'll give them a dose of Multimin before we turn the bulls in with them. Last year we were right at a 98% breed up. It could be a lot due to the Multimin. With Multimin use, everything's been better. Ease of calving, the milk rate, we've been doctoring less and less. Scours, especially, all the cattle are healthier. I feel that Multimin's well worth buying. I believe we're getting what we need back out of it.